Welcome to Bet On. I'm Kelly Stewart, your host for this week's show. I might be gone here soon. There's somebody right behind me riding my coattails. Marco's looking to replace me. Sorry. Lots of inside jokes starting off the show today. Guys, I'm Kelly Stewart at Kelly in Vegas, joined by Marco D'Angelo at Marco in Vegas. Gianni the Greek _ gambler. Make sure you guys are giving them a nice follow. All right, boys, it's been a nice NFL season so far. I was talking about it. I'm treading right now because I'm like, okay, when's a regression going to happen? When's a regression going to happen? John Murray and I do a podcast every single Sunday. He is the executive sportsbook director over at the Westgate, and it's hilarious because he said, it's because you're not in the contest this year. Yeah. I said, what? And he goes, you're not overthinking it. You're just playing your games.
Probably.
You're not forcing plays or trying to play certain numbers. He's like, you're just doing what you're doing. I'm like, oh, my God, I've been in contests for the last 6 years. What do you mean this is now actually the issue? All fun stuff aside, good luck to those that are in contests. Whew. Man, all right, you guys. Ready to talk about some primetime games?
We got a couple of them.
God, I'm already like hating myself. I just bet Cleveland on Thursday night, and we're not even going to talk about it, and I need like a therapy session for it. So let's skip to Sunday night. The Bears taking on the LA Rams.
Yeah.
I hate this game already. And when we were talking about our bets for best bets, the Bears is up there in my list. And it's come down from 7 to 6.5.
Mitchell Trubisky.
I know.
Okay, I'm not doing
I bet on them last week. Granted, they got to play without Matthew Stafford on the other side of the ball. This is tough. I'm looking at it right now. It's definitely headed to 2.5 all over the board, and probably even 2.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm still looking at Thursday night. My bad.
Yeah.
It's 7 to 6.5, and I think it is going to head to 6.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you, Kelly. Shocker, we might disagree on a game here, but I'm not buying into Chicago's win over Detroit. Let's be realistic. They beat Detroit. Matthew Stafford, stopped his streak of consecutive games, and they had to go with Jeff Driscoll. Okay. I don't even know who Jeff Driscoll is.
Yes, you did. He played at Florida. Stop it.
Well, that was when they had all those bad quarterbacks in Florida, okay, when they couldn't find one that,
Fair.
And the only good one they had left and went to West Virginia.
Baby.
Yeah, well, okay, we're going way back.
Don't forget Tim.
All right.
Good old Timmy.
But you look at this one, the Bears got the win, but Kelly, you had a quarterback that never took a snap in the NFL. They couldn't even get 100 yards rushing in the game, and yet the Bears only won by 7. Now you want to take the Bears going on the road on Sunday night to the Rams?
I didn't say I wanted to take the Bears. I wanted to take the 7, so I took the 7, and now it's 6.5, and I'm going,
Okay. Well,
I don't feel confident in it. I'm not going to say that.
Well, this is a spot where Chicago, they got to win when they had to. They won by default. The Lions were playing back-to-back weeks on the road. All the troubles they had with the injuries. You look at Rams, hey, we were all Pittsburgh last week. Everybody was scoffing at us on Twitter, giving us all kinds of shit. But crickets after the game, huh? And especially when they went up 7-0.
Right out of the gate.
That's the best whenever people jump in right out of the gate and got to jump on you. But here's a spot. I'm looking at the Rams. They're back at home, bounce back. They were coming off their bye week. They were in London their last game. They played Cincinnati, and before that they played Atlanta. Big deal. Jared Goff is not the same quarterback on the road as he is at home. They need to get the running game going. Todd Gurley, we're seeing it. He's just not the same Todd Gurley. They're going to have to start looking to replacements to try to get the production that they need in the running game so that Goff can slow down the pass rush because the offensive line has not been good. But I know the Bears have a ferocious defense. I get it. But this is a little payback from last year. Remember that game in December in the cold? I think it was like 20-some degrees.
Yes.
Jared Goff
had the worst game of his life.
Looked like a deer caught in headlights. Not this week. They get it done at home against
All right,
Chicago.
VR, you going to be the tiebreaker.
I can't disagree. I mean, I'm not ready to bet the Chicago Bears. I came into the season expecting a regression. I just didn't think it was going to be this drastic. We bet season win total under that. No, they won't make the playoffs. That was the sharp side coming into the season, and most were ready to start betting against the Bears after what they did last year. But again, I think Marco nailed it. They won by accident last week. Like, everything had to fall into place for them to finally get a win. And what scares me with backing a team like that is when you come into the season with playoff, if not Super Bowl aspirations, and you look up at week 11 and you know you're not going to the playoffs and you fall behind a little bit, it's tough to stay motivated. And that's what worries me about backing some of these dogs once we get into that November slate. It seems like a stay-away game. I lean Rams and probably under because I don't see Chicago scoring much.
All right. Monday night, Kansas City Chiefs on the road in the soccer stadium take on the Chargers.
Mexico.
In Mexico City. Same thing. No home field advantage anyway.
How does this not say where it's at anyway? You're right.
Matter.
There is no home field advantage. This is the Raiders game that was supposed to happen last year that didn't. Hopefully the field conditions are a little bit better. I'm really mad that this doesn't say anything about Mexico City. Also shows you how much interest I have in this game, and that is zero. Listen, this is a Chargers team. This Chargers team is frustrating. I'm going to leave it at that. This is a Kansas City team I'm just not ready to lay points with. I ended up on the Titans on Sunday morning. I had a buddy put in the group chat, hey, I like the Titans. And I was like, I'll give the Titans a whirl here. I think this is too many points. Sure enough, somehow Kansas City finds a way to lose that game. VR, your thoughts on the Mexico City game?
Listen, we know it doesn't matter whether it's being played in Mexico City or in Los Angeles for San Diego's side, because they have no home field advantage anyway. I like the Chargers here. I just don't see any reason the Chiefs go on, well, they're both on the road, but why they would be more than a field goal favorite in this spot. I mean, they've won only 2 of their last 6 games. And you see that the Chargers have played them tough. They beat them last year in Kansas City. And even when the Chargers have lost, they haven't really been getting blown away. They've stayed in the games. And if Kansas City has you hanging around, you can beat them. I think the Chargers are live.
You're right.
I think the total may be too high, too.
The Chiefs' defense does keep it. And if you watched that Titans game, Marco, Patrick Mahomes had flashes of his former self, but he's still hurt. Let's just be honest.
He still threw for 433 yards, and I got to be quick because we're running out of time on this one, but I'm taking Kansas City. They came back. They scored a lot of points. I was on Tennessee last week, Kelly. That was one of the lucky wins that I got last week. Tennessee did not deserve to win that football game. We got every break in the world to get it, including the end of the game where they were going to kick a field goal and go up 8, and instead they block it, and we go down and, get the win. Kansas City, Mahomes, he's going to light up the Chargers.
All right. Sorry for leaving with no time, but we are going to step out for a quick break. But when we return, we're going to dig inside the numbers as we look how much NFL games have moved the most and why. That's up next on Bet On It.
Get $25 in wager bucks added to your account after your first purchase at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. This is just our way of saying thank you for joining the Wager Talk and Sports Memo family.
Did you know every Tuesday is $2 Tuesday at wagertalk.com? We pick the hottest handicapper and offer his best bet for just $2. This is a great way to introduce yourself to the winning handicappers at wagertalk and sportsmemo.com. All right, it's time to take that deep dive into some of these lines that have moved. As we mention every week, the Westgate here in Las Vegas puts out a 12-day number. We call them the look-ahead lines. We're going to look and see how many of these have actually moved. So last week, New Orleans gets beat as a double-digit favorite. They were a 4.5-point favorite over Tampa Bay. Now they're a 5.5-point favorite. Riddle me that one, Batman.
This one makes no sense. They lose and Tampa wins, and the line's going the Saints' direction. This was a classic one last week for the Saints. They were coming off the bye week. They were on a roll, everything rolling. It was a momentum stopper. And it's why I didn't understand hold Breeze out till after the bye week, because you give them the extra week's rest.
Why sit the hot hand?
Yeah, and let Teddy Bridgewater take them into the break. And then this way you could avoid that flat spot coming out of the bye because everybody's excited because you got Drew Brees back. I love Sean Payton, but that was one decision that I questioned.
I mean, they got beat start to finish. They didn't just lose to Atlanta. They got beat up and down the field.
That was Atlanta's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing anything else. And they always have classic games, barn burners with those two. You're going to see the Saints back this week. They'll score some points. But as we'll talk later in the show, I don't this isn't justified, this line moving.
VR, so Carolina opened as a 7-point favorite, now a 5.5-point favorite. Atlanta getting lots of love. Is that what we're seeing here?
Yeah, this is simply a case of recency bias with Atlanta winning last week and Carolina losing. Carolina rushed for over 5 yards per carry, so they did what they were supposed to. They just lost the game because of 2 turnovers. You lose the turnover battle in the NFL, you're not going to cover the game most likely, and you're probably going to lose it. Where Atlanta got lucky, not only did they lose the turnover battle, they actually won the game having lost it, which is a rarity. I don't think it's justified at all. I think Atlanta, like Marco said, that was their Super Bowl. It was the New Orleans Saints. They had lost how many games in a row, Atlanta? So they showed up. They played a good game. Good for them. I don't think it carries over into Carolina.
Okay, Buffalo at Miami. It looks like the bookmakers are tired of losing with Miami now. We've seen some regression. Open Buffalo minus 7.5 now. 5.5-point favorites. Miami, are they done tanking?
They can't even tank right. Come on.
They just knocked out everybody between the Falcons and the Dolphins. They just knocked out every single survivor pool. So much so that the one that I'm in just said, here, we're just going to divide the prize pool amongst you last 18 because all of you suck. Like, no one's alive, but all of you suck. You both picked double-digit favorites.
You're chopping 18 ways? Come on.
I got voted against. It's okay. Man. You know me. I always want to be in there.
Yeah, okay. Well, Buffalo, this is ridiculous, okay? From 7.5 to 5.5. Yes, Miami's covered 5 in a row. Did you ever think we would be saying that this year?
Yeah, of course, because that's what we're going to see, because they didn't cover for so many weeks, and they looked good in the first half. They showed glimpses. We knew they were going to go on a little bit of run, at least against the number, because the bookmakers...
Fitzpatrick's been the difference. Obviously, they've got new life. But now they've won a couple games in a row. They're not going to be looked over. We talk about moves, moving a point, moving 2 points. This one is very significant because we're talking about key numbers. We went from 7.5 through the 7 down to 5.5. We'll talk about this one later in the show. I think there's value now on the Buffalo Bills side. This is one where I'm not going to buy into it, and I have some other reasons, but this is a total overreaction to recency bias. This is not justified.
All right, VR, Arizona at San Francisco. San Fran was a 2-touchdown favorite. Now down to 11.5. Jimmy G looked iffy at best on Monday night.
He did. I was a little disappointed. Arizona, I think, is one of the best stories of this season. They're playing good. They have nothing. They gave nothing. That poor kid's playing with absolutely nothing on that field. They've been competitive, but...
David Johnson can't even score me 1 point in fantasy.
They've covered 5 of their last 6 games, though.
How about Larry Fitzgerald? As old as he is,
exactly.
still making the plays
exactly.
that he's making.
He's their godsend.
But this line movement makes absolutely no sense, even though, I'm impressed with Arizona. Just because San Francisco lost on prime time on Monday Night Football in front of everyone, and more importantly, these two teams just played a few weeks back, and it was a 3-point game where San Francisco was a double-digit favorite on the road. They were given this many points in Arizona. They were given this many points, and they didn't cover. But let's not forget, San Francisco was coming off a game where they had scored 50 points against Carolina. So it was letdown city right there against Arizona. That won't be the case on Sunday. I think Arizona gets San Francisco's full attention.
Yeah, I mean, you would think after you lose to the divisional rival. All right, Marco, last but not least, we kind of touched on this one already. Chicago at LA, open Rams minus 7.5, now down to 6.5 because the Rams lost to the Steelers.
Overreaction. And guys, let's not kid ourselves. Pittsburgh's playing good football right now. They're improving week by week. Mason Rudolph's getting better each week. So, yeah, it was a bad loss for the Rams. But if the Steelers continue to play well down the road, you're going to look back and say, hey, that wasn't that bad of a loss in hindsight. This is an overreaction to the line. Why should Chicago be getting any love after beating Detroit? As we said, with all the problems Detroit had, can't do it. This is a total overreaction. And you went through a key number again. All
right, so we went through the numbers. Now we're going to go to everybody's little favorite spot besides Johnny Detroit. The Big T, the teaser segment of the week. All right, Marco, you're up first. You're going to be the first tease.
Oh, yeah, I'm not much of a tease, but I'm easy. I'm not a tease, okay?
I was waiting for that one.
We're going to take a look at it, and this will probably be one of the most popular teasers. I will say this. I'll put a disclaimer out. We're not going to talk about it. The Thursday night game, 2.5, there's going to be teasers galore on the Steelers over the touchdown because it's the mechanical teaser. You know, we all talk about the numbers and everything. So quick history lesson there. You're getting 2.5. You can tease up through all of the key numbers. But more importantly, looking at the total in the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, it's a very low total. And looking at Cleveland inside the 10-yard line, they have trouble scoring. So it's going to be an offer. But if you guys remember, there was a few weeks ago, there was a game with the Lions where I said, be careful. No, it was Chicago, Minnesota. Minnesota fit that automatic teaser scenario against the Bears, and that was the last win the Bears had prior to Sunday. Just going to put that little disclaimer out there. Be careful with that Pittsburgh teaser this week.
I actually just asked Twitter. I said, who hates themselves enough to bet on Cleveland?
Yeah.
All right, tell me your teaser.
I'm going Jacksonville for the first leg. This will be a popular one as well, but you look at Jacksonville. Big news this week. Who's coming back? But our buddy, Nick Foles, he's only played one game this year for Jacksonville, the big signing in the offseason. And unfortunately for them, got hurt in the first game. Now he's going to be facing Indianapolis. We don't know yet who is going to be the quarterback, if Brissett's going to be back, or if we're going to get Brian Hoyer again. Hoyer was dismal last week.
I mean, the line sure looks like we're going to get Jacoby Brissett.
I'm expecting it, but we haven't got the official word. Either way, do you see Indianapolis getting separation from Jacksonville? Right now, Jacksonville's, excited. They got their guy back. Defense is playing well. I'm going to go ahead and take them plus the 8.5. The second half of the teaser, we're going to go to the Rams. We've talked about this game several times. 6-point teaser. I can get them down to 1 to just win the game.
Didn't you do that with the Niners on Monday night? Sorry, I'm bitter.
Well, you're bitter. You did it. I didn't do it. But, yes, that would have been the case there. But Russell Wilson's the quarterback for Seattle that could pull a win on the road. Mitchell Trubisky on the road. No, thank you.
All right, you're out of time. VR.
Like 8 seconds left. Real quickly, remember, I tease numbers, not teams, and I tend to tease the teams that have either got some steam or I'm leaning that way. Don't lay more than minus 120 on a 6-point teaser. You won't make money long term. Real quickly, the Jets, because we could get them up through 3, through 7, up to plus 7.5 since they're a 1.5-point dog. I'm going to tease them with the Philadelphia Eagles. Get them. Wait, is that who I said? No, the Chargers. The Chargers. Sorry, the Eagles didn't get me to 10, so I went with the Chargers instead. Now you know who I like on that Eagles game. with the Chargers, because you get them up to double digits. I don't think they lose in divisional game by that many.
All right, that's great. I'm going to cherry pick one of each. Jacksonville and the Jets will be my teaser this week. Last week I cherry picked it. It didn't work out well for me. Let's hope we can get a nice W.
Which one lost?
The Niners.
I think I used them too.
Woof. Time for us to take a quick break. When we return, it's time for the Steam game of the week from VR. And Marco is going to trap you guys. The deli is closed. Stay tuned to bet on it.
Looking for more NFL betting info? Then tune into the Presidential Address each week when Wager Talk's own Lawrence Presman, the Prez, along with Ralph Michaels, break down this week's entire NFL card. The show is available every week exclusively at Wager Talk TV. If you like betting on horses, be sure to check out WagerTalk.com's own Sig, who zeroes on one racetrack at a time, offering his handicapping skills. Visit his homepage daily for his top selection in each race free. If you want all his selections for that track, you can get his full racing report for just $9.
All right, all season long, VR is going to bring us his NFL Steam game of the week. Marco is either doing sandwiches or traps. I never know until like 30 seconds before we go on. But Marco.
It's because you don't read my notes.
You're right. Marco sends me notes at 3:15 in the morning. He's correct. I don't read them. All right, VR. We're going to start with you. Let us know who your Steam game of the week is in the NFL.
All right, I'm going to go with a total for this. As soon as the NFL lines go up, and then they finally put the totals, and then the week begins, and they start taking a little more action, that's when the betting syndicates get involved and blast the totals immediately. And you start seeing on Tuesday, those lines start to move. And and they hit four totals, 3 unders. They went under on the Saints, under Carolina, under Baltimore, and you're seeing all those numbers come down below that key 50 range. I'm going to give you the under in Atlanta and Carolina. I still think there's more than enough value there. It's a game we just touched on prior. Atlanta had their success last week. I don't think they're going to have any success against Carolina. Atlanta's going to be too one-dimensional. That's the problem. They don't run the football successfully. They don't run it well, and they're not going to be able to do it against Carolina. On the flip side, Carolina is going to be able to run that football, kill clock, leave that Atlanta offense, which is inept anyway, on the sideline. I think this is an under game. I'd be surprised if they crack 43, 44 combined. So at 49.5, still more than enough value.
All right, Marco. It's a rare trap game. You feel like this is a trap game in the NFL, huh?
I do. And Kelly,
bring it on us.
We've been done. This segment's been my best segment.
I know it has. You've been killing it with the deli.
Deli and trap. We're 8-2. 8-2.
8-2 is. I mean, it's okay, Marco. I don't know if you've seen my Twitter timeline.
I'm supposed to go 100%. Yes.
8-2 is okay. If you're not picking 100%, I don't want a part of it, okay?
Well, Kelly, we're going to a game where people are going to go, what are you doing? Houston, Baltimore. Is there any team right now that the stock is any higher than Baltimore right now?
Probably Seattle.
Yeah, off of the Monday night game, yeah. Baltimore's rolling. They beat New England 2 weeks ago on national TV. It spanked them. And Lamar Jackson, from one game against New England and then run all over the Bengals. Come on, it's the Bengals. Let's be realistic.
It is the Bengals.
Okay?
Did you take the Bengals?
Huh?
That was one of my losers.
Yeah.
Seemed like a good idea at the time. For about the first 5 minutes in, I felt good about it.
Yeah, you and me both.
That was probably I think that was my worst NFL bet of the season.
But I got to, VR, I'm going to ask you, has your syndicate did anything with this game? Because this line makes no sense.
No, and here's why they haven't. Because Houston's going to be a side we're on for sure. Everything sets up nicely. Waiting to see where this line goes. Because there's going to be so much one-sided Baltimore money, Baltimore teaser money, that I think this line, you may get a better number.
Yeah, this is a spot that I'm looking at. The initial move has gone to Houston. It was 5, went to 4. Why would anybody be betting Houston in this game the way Baltimore's played the last couple of weeks? Plus the fact, Houston's coming off the bye week. I get that. And if there was ever a team that needed it, defensively, they're banged up. Now, they'll still be without J.J. Watt, but a couple of the other guys that were banged up will be back. So that's a situation for Houston here. Baltimore has had an easy schedule. They played New England, yes, but we also talked about all year how easy New England's schedule.
Ravens 3-10-1 against the spread in their last 14 as a favorite.
Okay. I'm looking here. I'm taking it. Lamar Jackson will be running the football. But, hey, you know what? If you're preparing to stop a running quarterback, what's the best team to do that than a team that's got a running quarterback of their own?
Yeah, exactly.
They see
I don't
it
know.
in
I'm
practice.
trying to bet
every
Houston
day.
right now.
Yeah.
Every
day they see a running quarterback in practice in Deshaun Watson.
There's a couple 4.5 still.
Grab it. Look at Kelly getting down right here.
Everywhere I have is 4.
Do you actually bet? People ask
No,
ask
I
that.
don't.
Yeah.
It may move back up. It may go back up.
I'm on
I don't think it's going to. I agree with Marco. This is going to be a sharps versus squares type game. It's going to be like we saw with Pats, Ravens.
And to me, this is the trap. This is the public's going to come in and want all of Baltimore that they can get. Go ahead, do it. Please. And what I'm going to do, it's sitting at 4.
Baltimore and over. Baltimore and over.
I'm going to sit and wait. I think, you don't want to lose the 4, but I don't see it getting to 3.5 because the public's going to bet Baltimore.
But we've talked about this before. They're not the ones moving the money.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys right now, bet this one at 4. Marco, you better get on your app right now because I just took 4 at Circa.
Oh, you took the line away. Yeah, Kelly take my 4 away.
There's 4s left.
Yeah, okay.
It's all yours.
I'm taking Houston plus the points, and this is a trap and is beer.
Yeah.
That was
Two-handed sprinkle.
Sprinkly.
All right.
So live.
How about, can I do, remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Can
Yes, I was just going to say.
Can I do a skyhook sprinkle?
Yes, please do. Off the backboard.
Oh, it's
Were you
Wednesday.
even born yet for him?
I know who he is, of course, but I don't think I remember watching him play.
The goggles and the sky.
The goggles.
And the sky.
No.
Come on.
All right, great stuff, guys. We're going to bring in our resident stat man, Mr. Ralph Michaels, for some TNA. We're going to see what Ralph has dug up for us this week. The man, the myth, the legend, Ralph Michaels. I know this is an NFL show, but it looks like you have a little basketball angle for us, which I'm excited to hear about. And you have a new basketball show out.
You know, I do. This is just a quick college basketball angle for those college basketball fans out there. I know this is NFL. We're going to get to NFL. But if you enjoy the TNA for the NFL, these are two samples of what we gave out. Wager Talk TV, Joe Ranieri and I do a daily college basketball show called The Tip-Off. Teams that were down by 20 at halftime and then end up only losing by 4 or less. We're filming this on Wednesday. Ball State was off a huge comeback against Evansville. They were down 30-some points. They only lost by 4. Those teams are in a 33% win position, so a 67% fade. Wednesday night, we'll see if that cashes with Illinois-Chicago over Ball State. And one more. In November, teams that lose as a home favorite, teams that lose as a favorite and are at home against a team that won as a dog. So you have a team that's pissed off at home against the team that pulled the upset. In November, teams are overrated. The team is BYU. They lost as a favorite. Southern Utah won as a dog. BYU 8-25 in that role, 24%. A lot of TNA and college basketball daily show with Joe Ranieri.
So we're playing on.
If you see this Wednesday night, you're playing on Illinois-Chicago, fading Ball State, and on Southern Utah, fading BYU.
Thank you.
Now let's get to the NFL.
Time for NFL. Make sure you guys check out Ralph and Joe's new show, The Tip-Off. I like that name. I'll have to check it out myself. All right, NFL time.
Okay.
Tell me how many Patriots trends after a loss with Bill Belichick when it's raining on Thursday.
I'm going to be VR. There's Patriot trends everywhere. Everyone's going to talk Patriot trends all over the place. Off a win, off a bye. All right, well, how about this? Week 6 on. Teams that lost as a favorite, and it's their first loss of the season. So you're at least 5-0 or you're 6-0. You're going well. You're rolling along well. Well, after your first loss, you're 31-55, 36% against the spread. 31. That's fade San Francisco, fade New England. Even better, here's the subset. If you're a favorite of 10 or less and you're off your first loss of the season, 19-48, 28%, that's fading New England, a play on Philadelphia, a 28% play on. So there are a lot of VR's right. Patriots off a bye are good. Patriots off a loss are good. That team's getting older, but this is a system based on the entire league, based the last 15 years.
Wow, I like it. Okay, what else you got dug up for me over there? That one looks hard.
How about a record? A team's 5-4. Does it mean anything?
No.
Well, if you're 5-4 and you're off a win, that means you were 4-4. You're now 5-4. You have a winning record. So it does mean something.
Okay.
And you're a dog. Those teams, since 2004, have gone 5-20 against the spread.
Ooh, so it is the Steelers this week.
And if you're an away dog, they've gone 2-14, 12.5%. It's fade Pittsburgh, and unfortunately, it's fade Philadelphia. So there's a Philly on and against. But again,
I do like for tomorrow night, I do like that against the Steelers. I tweeted out just a little bit ago, who hates themselves enough to bet on the Browns on Thursday night? Raise his hand.
But don't, you know, we talk about wins and losses and how teams do. Records are powerful motivators. And when teams get to a certain position, they feel more comfortable or they feel pressure to win. And since 2012, if you are playing a division foe, you have revenge, and you're off a loss, and you're a favorite of 4 or more. So you're off a loss, you're playing this division foe that you know with revenge, and you're the better team as the favorite. Good record or bad?
I'm going to guess bad.
31-14, 69%.
Ooh.
And it makes complete sense. You have revenge for this team that you lost to. You're off a loss, so you're fired up. You're a favorite of 4 or more, so you're the better team. 31-14, 69%. That says to take Carolina over Atlanta and Kansas City against the LA Chargers. Carolina, of course, lost to Green Bay. They lost to Atlanta last year, game 15, and now they're a favorite. And again, KC off a loss. They lost their last game to the Chargers last year.
Okay.
And one that we mentioned, and I'll just mention it again, it worked out well last week. If you are on the road against a division foe with a bye on deck.
Okay.
So you're giving your entire effort. You have a bye on deck. You're playing a team you're familiar with. Last week, that system was on San Francisco. They won. Excuse me, it was on Seattle, and they
Seattle
won. That record is now 30-13 against the spread. This week, it's on Arizona against San Francisco again. So San Francisco in a tough scheduling spot when opponents, when they're playing them, have buys on deck back-to-back weeks.
This is a lot to digest, Ralph. You have me in this glass case of emotion. Some things really back up what I'm saying, and some are just ripping the rug out of underneath me.
Yeah, you know.
But as always, great stuff. And again, don't forget to check out Ralph and Joe's new college basketball show each and every week on Wager Talk.
Monday through Friday, daily.
Perfect. Time for us to take a quick break. When we return, it's time to walk the dogs. Why? Because Barking Dogs is up next.
We want you to be a VIP, and with our Ring in the New Year package, you can be. Right now, you can buy any capper at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com and get all their plays in all sports through New Year's Day for just $350. There's football almost every day in November, and in December from the middle of the month through New Year's Day, there'll be either NFL action or college bowl games every day. This is the deal of the year. Just $350 gets you all plays in all sports from your favorite capper. Hurry, go to wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com now. This even includes all 5% plays that sell for $40 by themselves.
Welcome back to my favorite portion of the show. That's right, it's Barking Dogs, followed by Best Bets. Life doesn't get much better than that. I'm going to start off with Marco, even though I'm the underdog queen. Did you see that? How funny was that? Our producer thought he was being funny because I said something. We're going back and forth with Minty, and he goes, so then I go, whatever, I'm the underdog queen. And then next thing you know, it becomes the title of our podcast that week. And I'm like, all right, guys. So Marco.
You're more of a princess than a queen.
Okay.
Okay. Princess is a little more diva.
Oh, God. All right. Next, who's your underdog this week, Marco?
Okay, when I say this, when we're done with the segment.
Is it a rabid dog?
Can you please drive me and have me committed into a mental institution? Because I am going to.
Oh, I already know.
For the third week in a row. It wasn't my barking dog 3 weeks in a row. We've had them different areas. But I got to go back to the well. I got to go back to Tampa Bay.
Good God.
How many people are going to be on?
I love it.
They're going to be.
What's the love? He sounds like the Browns last
Get me
week.
some Jameis. Get me some Jameis.
You guys, I have such a love-hate relationship with Jameis Winston. When
Get
he's
me
good
some
Jameis, he's my dude. But when he is bad Jameis, I want to pull my eyeballs out
You're
of their
gonna see good
sockets.
Jameis on Sunday.
When he's bad, James.
Bad
Okay.
Jameis is rough. So right now, 5.5.
5.5.
You think they're barking?
The world is going to be on the Saints in this game to bounce back after their bad effort last week. And
what a better way to do it, but over Tampa Bay.
Over Tampa Bay, who was life and death with the Arizona Cardinals. And let's give Kingsbury a little bit of credit. How big of a set did it take for him to do the fake punt in his own end of the game? That was the turning point of that game, that play right there. From that point on, Tampa Bay was on their heels in that game.
I figured the Cardinals were going to be the square dog of the week. I mean, it ended up being them and the Bills, but they both got to the money, or at least to the push. Marco, I'm worried about you, buddy.
I know. Hey, we're looking at a team that's got 15 turnovers in their last 4 games, and yes, I'm gonna bank on them here. If they have a clean game, just have a clean game once. They have an offense that nobody has stopped, as bad as they've been. And look at all the points they've scored in those last 5 games or last 4 games. They've given away 15 possessions.
I'm trying to look for something nice to say about them.
How many more points would this team have if they don't turn the football over? I don't see the Saints stopping them. I'm not sold on the Saints defense. I think this is going to be one of those old-fashioned games between the Saints in Tampa Bay where both teams are going to go up and down the field. And do you remember last year, Tampa Bay went into New Orleans opening week of the season and shocked them in the Superdome? I'm taking Tampa here.
Know.
We got a dome team
that was,
laying points on the road.
Our buddy Ryan Fitzmagic that helped do that one, not our buddy Jameis. That makes me really nervous. You guys, I'm worried about Marco's well-being. VR, who is your barking dog for this week?
Yeah, you guys ain't gonna like this one.
Neither.
No.
Please don't say Cincinnati.
No. This time we're going to Broad Street, and we're gonna go to the Philadelphia Eagles because
Let's go.
while Philadelphia
That's
was
not ugly. I like that one a lot.
fading New England off a loss,
Yeah.
off a bye. I can't
seems
wait to
legit.
see the trends on that. There's gonna be like 80 different trends that put you on New
Maybe we
England
can get-
that have been like 90% over the last 62 years.
We could share a room at the
62.
asylum.
I'm telling you, every trend's going to be New England. Brady Belichick after a loss, Brady after a bye. You're going to be hearing it all week. But here's the bottom line, because again, I don't like to regurgitate stats that aren't my own. Nothing proprietary about me telling you how much this team rushes per game. Instead, I'm going to tell you just simple reasoning. Bottom line, while New England was beating up the Jets and the Giants and the Redskins and Cleveland, the Eagles were toughening up against Green Bay, Minnesota, Dallas, the tough teams in the NFL. They didn't have all that much success, granted, but at home, Super Bowl, let's not forget. So the Eagles know New England's coming there to show up. They're going to get the Eagles' best game, and I think the Eagles are capable of beating this New England team that I think is a little bit, I hate to say it, they are number one on my power ratings, but I do think they're a little bit overvalued right now based on their strength of schedule. Again, you can only beat who's in front of you, and their point differential is amazing, but still, they're going to be tested Sunday.
Just to throw that stat out there that people will want.
Give it to me.
Bill Belichick, off a loss of 10 points or more when he was the favorite, since he's been the coach of the New England Patriots, 16-4 against
See,
the
I
spread.
like that, but I hate when someone's like, oh, yeah, when they sit there and they keep repeating all these stats of 4.2. Okay, so if it's 4.2 yards per carry, if it's 4.0, what are you going to quantify? What are you going to change in your line? If they can't answer that, then why are you telling me this? That's what I don't understand.
Well, then this is just a good segue into my best bet. So
Give it to us.
the Patriots 15-6 against the spread after the last 21 games after a loss. That's from our buddies over at OddsShark.
Here come the trends. The
Yeah,
Patriot backing trends. They're going.
There's like 8 of them. There's like
they're going to keep coming.
every newsletter, everything, and I don't care because
it's already factored into. It's already baked into the cake.
my best bet is it is. My best
Where's
bet
my
is
cake?
Philadelphia.
It's baked into the cake.
Just like I had the Ravens. I told you guys this before. I tell you guys this on this show. I tell you guys this on the BR show. I bet against the Patriots on the road. I do not even look to bet against them at home.
11 weeks ago, if you were going to bet this game, Eagles were a 1.5-point favorite.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I had the Ravens a 1-point favorite. I have the Eagles a 1-point favorite in this game, and I had the Bills a 3-point underdog when they were catching a touchdown at home. Those are the 3 times I bet against them, and I'm betting against them again here. Listen, this is a Philadelphia team that, as VR said, has played a tough schedule, and you're right, they've got to toughen up as New England has just kind of got to coast by. And I wasn't sold on this New England team. Every single win that they just kept stacking up, no problem. And I waited to strike against the Ravens. And it just so happens, I get to do it basically back-to-back weeks.
They're double-digit favorites every week. You should be 8-0 or 9-0. You know what I mean? I mean,
when you get to play teams like the
win
Jets and the
probability of that
Dolphins.
point spread is like 80%. So you should be that 8-0 or whatever they are.
Absolutely. All right, Marco, you are up next. Please tell me who your best bet is.
All right, we're going to go to Buffalo at Miami.
Why'd you like some ugly teams this week?
Well,
Even the peanut gallery over here is going, geez.
This is an angle that I like, and we're going to give you a little bit of a, you know all the different angles, the sandwich games, the trap games. This is a second meeting situation. We had one of them last week, and unfortunately, I know you were on the other side of it, but it would have applied to that game as well. Baltimore was at Cincinnati. They played already this season.
Marco, reminding you I lost last week.
And me too. That's okay. Thanks, Marco. But the best part was it was over within the first quarter, so you just didn't have to worry about it. It was just okay, cool.
They played the first game, and the home team is a double-digit favorite, won but didn't cover. In the second meeting, the natural thing people are going to look at, Miami's covered 5 in a row against the spread. They've won 2 in a row. Fitzmagic is back. Everybody's going to fall in love with Miami. Marco. But they're going to look, hey, they just went to Buffalo a few weeks ago. They almost beat Buffalo. Just stop.
They did have Buffalo on the ropes.
Stop. What happened that week? Buffalo was coming off their bye week. Buffalo went into the bye week on a roll. I've talked about this many times. We saw it last week with the Saints. Go into the bye week on a roll.
Atlanta coming in,
Yeah, and you're playing a garbage team coming out of the bye week. It's like you got 2 more weeks.
You got 2 bye weeks.
Yeah, 2 bye weeks there. They were not ready to play the Miami Dolphins the first time. So now that you've got that close score the first time these two played, you're getting an adjustment in the line. We saw it. The look-ahead line was 7.5. This thing comes out 5.5. We went through the key number of 7 and 6. We're getting value with Buffalo here. I'm laying the points with Buffalo. They had an ugly loss last week to the Cleveland Browns. No question about it. But was it Cleveland's ineptness not getting into the end zone with 10 tries
that was rough.
Inside the 5-yard line? Or was that Buffalo defense that stood up, and played well? Now they've got a loss. They already had a struggle with this team. They're not going to take them for granted. I think Buffalo goes in here. They demolish this Miami team. Miami, Fitzpatrick has given them the magic that they're scoring right now, and they're excited about it. But guys,
you know how that fades always.
They beat the Jets, okay? They beat the Jets. And then they go in and beat Indianapolis last week, and everybody's saying, well, they were a double-digit dog. Well, you had a backup quarterback in there.
We've all been on the wrong side of Brian Hoyer before.
Yeah.
My partner and I talked about this with Survivor. Like, do we take the Saints? And I'm like, I don't want any part of the Saints team.
You
tough.
said earlier, who's left in the Survivor pools last week? Because the 2 plays were, you either took Buffalo, or not Buffalo, you either took Indianapolis, or New Orleans.
I wanted Green Bay. That got vetoed, but that's okay. I will not be mad about it. VR, talk to me.
I got a best bet that they're going to be a little surprised because I always hear, he only gives underdogs. He only bet, and nothing could be further from the truth. We just give one play here.
No, you don't give out your best bets because what did I see on Twitter?
Oh, I save them to sell? That's such nonsense. I give so much volume. I don't think any of my subscribers would care if I give out a premium play. In fact, if I have premium plays, that's what I give you guys. But with that said, I did for the Steam play. But anyway, here's a side I'm definitely going to be on. And that's the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to lay the double digits again. I don't just bet dogs. If I land on more dogs, then so be it. My goal is just to win more than I lose long term. And if dogs have accomplished that for me, then maybe they have. But with that said, I'll lay the double digits in this spot, which is a rarity for me, especially in a divisional game. I think this line should even be higher. And the reason it isn't is based on these 2 teams playing a few weeks back and Arizona making a game of it, only losing by 3 in that game. And let's not forget, the most important thing is line value. That's what you try to get to win long term, right? You want to get the best of the line. And we know just 3 weeks ago, San Francisco went into Arizona given this many points. Now they're playing them at home and given the same amount of points. So the line value's there. The adjustment, should it be made based off that game? They played a tight game a few weeks ago? I don't think so. I don't think it's warranted. San Francisco was coming off that 51-point win, where the points that they put up against Carolina. We touched on it earlier. I won't take more time. I think this is a blowout win for San Francisco, especially after Monday night.
And to add to the San Francisco, it was a Thursday night game, so I didn't use it as the sandwich game that week, but that was the ultimate sandwich spot.
For them, right?
Yeah, they were coming off the big win over Carolina, score the 51 points, playing on a short week at Arizona, and then having to play the big Monday night game against Seattle. They were looking ahead to Seattle, and we always talk about those Thursday night games, what a disadvantage it is for the road team.
Yeah.
Except whenever it's a division game, because your opponent, you play them twice a year.
Prepare for them,
But the difference this year for playing Arizona.
You're right, new quarterback, new everything.
New quarterback,
system.
new coach, new system. It wasn't as easy to prepare for them. It'll be easier for them to prepare the second time.
No
and
team
you're catching Arizona on the road for a second week in a row. I got to agree with you.
All right, guys, if you are in town next, 3
2 weeks from now, right?
2.5
3
weeks?
weeks?
Yeah. December 1st, we're going to have a Wager Talk appreciation party for all of our clients at the Westgate, Las Vegas. Hanging out in the Superbook, they have this really cool VIP area called the Clubhouse. So if you guys are in town Sunday, December 1st, stop by there. Beers on me or this guy and Prez and Gianni, whoever you want to look at it. But we'd appreciate you guys stop down, come say hi, shake our hands. Again, it's your opportunity to come in public and tell us how bad we suck.
Yeah, why do it on Twitter? Come see us in person.
No,
and I'll buy you a beer to criticize
None of those
us.
people are showing up. Just like with March Madness, we're going to have a great time. The alcohol is going to be flowing, and hopefully we're cashing tickets. And hopefully I'm not opposite on half of our customers that are there, and I have to go sit by myself on the other side of the book. All right, guys, we're going to step out for a quick break. It's our final thoughts on this week's NFL action, and give a little nice recap since this is Marco's favorite part of the show. He really likes that. Guys, please don't scroll all the way to the end so I don't get yelled at. And the recap is getting lots of great reviews. Don't forget to tell Marco how much you love it in the comment section.
Hey guys, I'm Lawrence Presman, the Prez, co-founder of Wager Talk. I'm excited that you're all watching Bet On It. Just want to tell you guys about our hockey show, Puck Time. It's honestly the best show that I do all week. We do it with all of the hockey talent over at Wager Talk and Sports Memo, from Alex B. Smith to Dave Koken, Carmine Bianco, Buster Sports, myself, and Andrew McGinnis. Different co-hosts every day. It's hockey all the time, and it's one of the best sports to bet on, and certainly the most exciting sport to watch. Check us out 2 p.m. Eastern every day, Monday to Friday, at Wager Talk TV.
It's always a good time here on the Bet On It stage. It's now time to recap tonight's show. We're going to start off with the primetime games, where I already hate myself for taking the 7 with the Chicago Bears. These guys are on the opposite side. They say lay the 6.5 with the Rams. Yeah, Mitch Trubisky, I'm a glutton for punishment. Monday night, Marco's by himself with the Kansas City Chiefs. You know VR can't bet the Chiefs. All jokes aside.
They're the best regular season team,
Yeah, and this is a regular season game,
Yeah.
but it's in Mexico, so it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Don't drink the water.
Yeah, we're both leaning towards the dogs and the Chargers here. My teaser got busted last week because I tried to cherry pick one game from both guys. So I'm doing it again this week. Why not? Marco's on Jacksonville and teasing the Rams down. VR likes the Jets and the Chargers. I'm taking one of each. I'm going to tease Jacksonville and the Jets. Next up, time for the Steam game. VR under 49.5. Atlanta, Carolina. VR, you said that one was safe to bet until what number? 49 is where you cut it off?
Honestly, I thought I made my number around 44.5, 45. I'd go to 48 even, believe it or not.
All right, perfect. And the trap game of the week, I actually really agree with Marco here. I like this one. Ravens looking just a little too pretty, though. I did step in front of that. Yeah,
Fat and sassy?
Fat and sassy. I stepped in front of that freight train last week, and that was not fun.
But at least you didn't have to sweat it.
No, I did not. I didn't even have to watch it, as a matter of fact. All right.
Don't forget to sprinkle, right?
Yes, yes, please sprinkle on his Houston play.
And we did Skyhook sprinkle, too.
Yeah, from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, we've got barking dogs. Marco likes the ugliest dog on the board.
Jameis
and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 5.5. And VR likes Philadelphia plus 3.5. I'm glad to see we're on the same side there, and it's a nice little segue into my best bet, Philadelphia. Sorry, Pats fans, I know you guys hate me, but I'm not betting against the Pats. I'm betting on.
No matter what the trends say this week.
No, too many trends. Nobody
Right?
likes the trends. All right, VR likes San Francisco and the points, and Marco is betting against the ever so trendy Miami Dolphins. God,
5 in a row for the Dolphins.
it's just. I can't even explain it. We're done. We're done. The show's over. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as we did do it from VR, Marco, and myself. Good luck. Make sure that you guys share this video on social media. Click the little bell in the right-hand corner on YouTube.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, VR's favorite thing, smash the like
that
button.
like
And again, that way you don't miss next week's show, so you guys don't have to tweet me every single Wednesday starting at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where's the show? Where's the show? Where's the show?
Plus, the more subscribers we get, the more things we could do, right?
Yeah,
We could do live
There
stuff.
we
and
go. I like
get us
it.
subscribers so we could do more
Great
shows.
ideas from VR. Until next week, let's bet on it.